There is a man who walks through life wearing a red hoodie, carrying 300 pounds of muscle on a frame that stands 5 feet 8 inches tall. His name is Greene, and his story is not just about building the body, but about building an empire from absolutely nothing. This is about how a kid abandoned in Brooklyn's foster care system at 6 years old transformed himself into a bodybuilding icon worth over $1 million, not through trophies alone, but through the power of thinking like a businessman while everyone else was thinking like an athlete. Greene was born on July 12, 1975, in Brooklyn, New York. By the time he turned 6, he found himself removed from whatever family structure existed and placed into the foster care system. For the next 10 years, young Kai moved through 14 different homes, some nurturing, most cold, and institutional. He lived in residential treatment centers where survival meant more than just getting by. It meant finding something, anything, to hold on to when the world felt like it was constantly shifting beneath your feet. The statistics were against him. Kids in foster care face unemployment rates 3 times higher than the general population. They are more likely to experience homelessness, more likely to struggle with mental health, and far less likely to attend college. But Greene did not become a statistic. He became a case study in the power of self-transformation. During his teenage years in one of those treatment centers, an employee handed him a book. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger's The New Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding. That book did 2 things for Kai. First, it taught him how to read properly, giving him literacy skills he had struggled with. Second, it showed him a world where a man could sculpt himself into something extraordinary, where discipline and vision could literally reshape reality. Kai started doing push-ups in his room, not because he dreamed of being a champion, but because working out made him feel less like a victim. It gave him control when everything else felt chaotic. Exercise released hormones that made him feel better, though he did not understand the science then. He just knew that when he trained, he felt powerful. When he looked in the mirror and saw muscle growing, he saw possibility. By the time Kai reached his late teens, he joined Johnny Lat's gym in Brooklyn and began training seriously under coach Jacob Panotas in 1996. The gym became his sanctuary, the weights his therapy. In 1994, at just 19 years old, Kai won the NGA American Nationals and earned his first pro card. 5 years later, in 1999, he captured the NPC Team Universe title. But then something unexpected happened. Kai disappeared from competition for 5 years. He took a hiatus not out of defeat, but out of strategic thinking. He realized he was not ready. His physique was impressive, but it lacked the refinement, the polish, the completeness required to compete at the highest levels. So he vanished into the gym, spent 5 years perfecting his craft, studying his body like an artist studies a canvas. When Kai returned in 2004, he won the NPC Team Universe again, this time qualifying as an IFBB professional bodybuilder. The real Greene era had begun. Over the next decade, he would become one of the most decorated bodybuilders in history. He won the Arnold Classic 3 times, in 2009, 2010, and 2016. He took first place at the New York Pro Championship in 2008 and 2011. He won the Australian Pro Grand Prix twice. But the prize that eluded him, the one that defines bodybuilding greatness, was the Mr. Olympia title. Kai placed second 3 consecutive years, from 2012 to 2014, always finishing behind Phil Heath. That rivalry between Kai and Phil became legendary. The battle of symmetry versus mass, Polish versus raw dramatic power. Fans called it the Battle of the Titans. And while Kai never won the Sandow Trophy, he won something perhaps more valuable: the people's hearts and the people's wallets. Here is where Kai Greene's story diverges from most bodybuilders. Most athletes in this sport chase trophies, and when the trophies stop coming, their income disappears. Kai understood something fundamental that separated him from nearly everyone else in bodybuilding. He understood that bodybuilding was not just a sport, it was a platform, it was a brand, it was a business, and the real money was not on stage. It was everywhere else. Kai began asking himself a critical question. If bodybuilding is my canvas and my body is the art, how do I monetize the art without relying solely on competition wins? The answer came in layers, in multiple income streams that he built systematically over years. First came prize money. Winning the Arnold Classic could earn over $130,000 per victory. Across his career, Kai accumulated significant prize money, but he knew that was not sustainable long-term. Competitions are brutal on the body. You cannot compete forever. So Kai looked at what happened after the contests. Sponsorships became his second stream. Major companies like Muscle Meds signed him to endorsement deals. These partnerships paid him not just for using their products, but for being their face, their ambassador. Kai's unique philosophical approach to bodybuilding, his dramatic posing routines, his intellectual way of discussing the mind-muscle connection made him more marketable than bodybuilders who only talked about weights and reps. Brands wanted someone who could inspire, who could tell a story, who could connect emotionally with customers. Kai delivered that in abundance. Then Kai made a bold move. In 2015, he launched his own supplement company, Dynamik Muscle. This was not just slapping his name on someone else's products. Kai co-founded the company with Aaron Singerman, who later went on to create Redcon 1. Dynamik Muscle offered pre-workout formulas, fat burners, testosterone boosters, and pump enhancers. The products carried names like Savage Roar, Gamma Ray, Eviscerate, and Warbringer. Kai insisted on transparency in ingredient dosing, setting his brand apart from competitors who hid behind proprietary blends. For several years, Dynamik Muscle generated substantial revenue, becoming a major income source. But running a supplement company demands enormous time and energy. You have to manage production, distribution, marketing, sales, customer service, regulatory compliance. Kai found himself stretched thin, trying to balance business operations with his acting ambitions, his art projects, his training, his content creation. In 2020, Kai made another strategic business decision. He folded Dynamik Muscle into Redcon 1, reuniting with Aaron Singerman, but this time as a sponsored athlete rather than a business owner. This move freed Kai from the operational headaches of running a supplement company while still allowing him to earn through sponsorship and product collaborations. Redcon 1's president, Eric Hart, called Kai the most recognized modern-day bodybuilder and praised his work ethic and alignment with the brand's philosophy. The partnership gave Kai financial stability without the stress of day-to-day business management. It was a masterclass in knowing when to hold and when to fold, when to be an owner, and when to be a partner. But Kai did not stop building income streams. He created his own training programs. The 5P system, named after his motto, "Proper preparation prevents poor performance," offered customized workout and nutrition plans for 4, 8, or 12 weeks. Later, he expanded this into Train with Kai, a digital platform selling downloadable ebooks with training and nutrition guides. Customers could purchase individual programs or bundles. One promotion offered 15 ebooks for just $15, regularly priced at nearly $300. Over 1 million ebooks sold. The genius of this model is scalability. Kai created the content once and sold it infinitely. Whether 10 people bought it or 10,000, the work remained the same, but the revenue multiplied. This is passive income at its finest. Kai also offered one-on-one online coaching, premium services where clients paid for personalized guidance directly from him. These high-ticket offerings commanded premium prices because they provided direct access to a legend. Meanwhile, his social media presence generated income through sponsored posts and brand partnerships. With millions of followers across Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok, Kai's posts reached massive audiences. Companies paid him to feature their products, to share their messages, to leverage his influence. Some estimates suggest his annual income from social media and digital products alone ranges between $400,000 and $600,000. Add competition winnings, sponsorships, supplement deals, training programs, and other ventures, and you start to see how Kai built his million-dollar net worth without ever winning Mr. Olympia. Then came acting. In 2017, Kai appeared in the second season of Netflix's Stranger Things, playing a character named Funshine. It was a small role, appearing in just 2 episodes, but it was significant. Kai became one of the first modern bodybuilders to cross over into mainstream television since Arnold Schwarzenegger. Through representation by the Gersh Agency, facilitated by Generation Iron's management, Kai bridged the gap between bodybuilding and Hollywood. He appeared in multiple films, including Generation Iron in 2013, which documented his rivalry with Phil Heath and showcased his preparation for Mr. Olympia. The documentary was a box office success and introduced Kai to audiences beyond the bodybuilding community. He followed that with Generation Iron 2 in 2017 and Generation Iron 3 in 2018. In 2022, the team released Kai, a documentary focused entirely on his life story, his childhood trauma, his philosophy, his art, and his legacy. Kai also ventured into international cinema, appearing in the Indian action thriller Pogaru in 2021, and the martial arts film Crazy Fist in 2018. He played a male stripper in the comedy College Debts in 2015. While none of these roles made him a Hollywood star, they diversified his income and expanded his brand globally. Each acting gig paid him upfront, increased his visibility, and opened doors to future opportunities. Kai understood that every appearance, every credit, every role added value to his personal brand. Art became another avenue. Kai is an accomplished visual artist who creates self-portraits to study and refine his physique. He exhibited his artwork publicly in 2011, blending his bodybuilding with his passion for drawing and painting. He took his art to the streets, performing in public spaces wearing masks and elaborate costumes, creating performance art that blurred the lines between bodybuilding and theater. These guest posing appearances at bodybuilding competitions became legendary. Kai would arrive in outfits that shocked and captivated audiences, turning posing routines into theatrical performances. Critics within the sport said his performances were too extravagant, too ridiculous, that they did not belong on a bodybuilding stage. But Kai did not care about critics. He cared about creating experiences that people remembered, experiences that generated buzz, experiences that kept his name trending. That is marketing. That is brand building. Kai also created comic books and graphic novels. He developed a superhero character called King Kai, an alter ego representing his journey from trauma to triumph. The Chronicles of King Kai became a multimedia project, blending storytelling, art, and philosophy. It was not just a comic book. It was a brand extension, another product to sell, another way to connect with his audience. Kai also hosted podcasts. He co-hosted the Generation Iron podcast starting in 2015 with fitness model Crystal Leven. Later, he launched his own show, Getting It Done with Kai Greene, which premiered in 2020. The podcast featured conversations with entrepreneurs, athletes, and motivational figures. It explored mindset, goal setting, discipline, and success. Episodes covered everything from training techniques to business strategies to mental health. The podcast generated income through sponsorships and ads while reinforcing Kai's brand as a thought leader, not just a bodybuilder. In 2021, Kai became the face of Grapefruit Supercoin, a gaming cryptocurrency. This move demonstrated his willingness to explore emerging markets and diversify his portfolio. While the cryptocurrency space is volatile and speculative, the partnership added another revenue stream and kept Kai relevant in conversations beyond fitness. He understood that staying visible, staying innovative, staying adaptable was essential for long-term financial success. Kai also built a merchandise business through his Dynamik Muscle brand, and later through collaborations with sportswear companies like Riderwear. Signature clothing lines, hoodies, shoes, gym apparel, all carried his branding. The red hoodie that Kai wears became iconic, a symbol of his philosophy and his persona. Fans wanted to dress like him, to embody his mindset. Kai turned that desire into profit. Riderwear released signature products in his name, and every sale generated royalties. What makes Kai Greene's business model remarkable is not any single income stream, but the ecosystem he created. He did not rely on one source. He built a diversified portfolio: competition winnings, sponsorships, supplement companies, training programs, ebooks, coaching, acting, art, podcasts, merchandise, cryptocurrency, guest appearances, motivational speaking. If one stream slowed, 5 others kept flowing. This is how you build wealth that lasts beyond your athletic prime. This is how you turn bodybuilding into a business empire. And through it all, Kai operated according to a philosophy he repeated constantly. Thoughts become things. This was not just a catchy slogan, it was his operating principle. Kai believed that everything begins in the mind. Before you build the body, you build the vision. Before you achieve the goal, you imagine the outcome. He spoke about visualization, about seeing his arms grow from 17 inches to 24 inches before they physically did. He talked about mental discipline, about managing your thoughts so they align with your ambitions. He emphasized consistency, routine, discipline, the boring, repetitive work that nobody sees but everyone benefits from. Kai's philosophy resonated because it came from authenticity. He was not born into privilege. He did not have parents investing in his future. He did not have financial safety nets or connections. He had nothing except the decision to transform himself. He took the worst possible start and turned it into the greatest possible story. And he shared that story openly, vulnerably, powerfully. In interviews, Kai spoke about feeling like luggage passed from home to home, about the pain of abandonment, about the rage he felt as a teenager. He talked about using bodybuilding as therapy, as a way to channel aggression into something constructive. He discussed his struggles with mental health and the importance of balancing ambition with well-being. This vulnerability made him relatable. People saw themselves in his struggle. They saw proof that transformation was possible. Kai's story also teaches a lesson about redefining success. He never won Mr. Olympia. By traditional bodybuilding standards, that makes him incomplete. But by business standards, by life standards, by impact standards, Kai Greene is a champion. He built a net worth estimated between $1 and $2 million, depending on the source. He created a personal brand recognized globally. He inspired millions through his words, his art, his performances, his authenticity. He proved that losing on stage does not mean losing in life. He showed that the real competition is not against other athletes, but against your own limitations, your own fears, your own past. Kai turned bodybuilding into a platform for everything else he wanted to do. Acting, art, business, teaching, inspiring. Bodybuilding gave him the stage. His mind gave him the empire. Today, Kai Greene remains active in the fitness industry, even though he has not competed since 2016. He declined offers to return to Mr. Olympia in 2017. Speculation swirls about whether he will ever compete again. But Kai seems content building his legacy outside competition. He continues creating content, coaching clients, developing new business ventures, exploring creative projects. His influence extends far beyond bodybuilding. He is a motivational figure, a business case study, a symbol of resilience. The lessons from Kai Greene's journey are universal. First, your past does not define your future. Kai came from nothing and built something extraordinary. Second, diversify your income. Never rely on one source of revenue. Build multiple streams so if one dries up, others sustain you. Third, brand yourself. Kai did not just build his body. He built a persona, a philosophy, a movement. Fourth, think long-term. Kai understood that bodybuilding careers are short. He prepared for life after competition while still competing. Fifth, stay authentic. Kai's vulnerability, his willingness to share his struggles, his refusal to pretend everything was easy, made him beloved. People trust authenticity. They buy from authentic brands. They follow authentic leaders. Kai Greene's story is not just about bodybuilding. It is about entrepreneurship. It is about turning passion into profit. It is about leveraging every opportunity, every platform, every skill to create a life of freedom and impact. Kai did not just win competitions. He won the game of life by changing the rules, by refusing to let others define success for him, by building an empire on his own terms. From a 6-year-old abandoned in foster care to a multi-millionaire entrepreneur, actor, artist, and icon, Kai Greene proves that thoughts truly become things. And when you combine that mindset with relentless work, strategic thinking, and the courage to be different, you do not just build a body. You build a legacy. You build an empire. You build a life that inspires others to do the same. That is the story of Kai Greene, the man who turned bodybuilding into a business and showed the world that the greatest muscle you can develop is the one between your ears.